Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are gonna produce a mesh for our ongoing MIKE21 SW model. Finally, well, you need to be happy because finally you're gonna see some colors today, not just this kind of raw environment that I'm used to show you. Well, as you remember from my last video, from the part 2 of this series, I was working on the bathymetry of the area of study. I think in the previous video I have done or not even have done, don't know. Well, the thing is that I've continued um, working on the bathymetry. If you know or if you want to know how this has been created, just go to the video number 2 and you'll see what I have done. So basically now I have the contour lines, not all of them, but most of them. I didn't like copy all of the contour lines because this is just to show you how the software is used. If I would have been working on a true project, I will have like paid a lot more attention to all of these details to have a pretty accurate bathymetry of the area. Also, here you can see that the contours of the island are not the accurate as they should be, but they will do the job for the example. Yes, as I think I say in all my videos, just if you're working in a professional environment, then do it properly. Okay, so I have already exported all of this data to using this export, work area export, and that generates two files, land boundaries and water boundaries. I'm not gonna do it again because I showed that in the previous video. So what I'm gonna do is to open a new MIKE0 module. I'm gonna go to File, New, File. Then I'll go to inside this folder, is it called MIKE0? I'm going to select the mesh generator. So I click OK. It's asking me for the projection system. As you will remember, we were working in this WGS 1984 UTM zone 29 north. So I'll click OK. So basically what it is showing me is just an area of that projection system. What I'm going to do now is to import the points that I have been defining in my while translating the Admiralty chart into data, to X, Y, Z data. So I'm gonna go to data, import scatter data. I'm gonna go to add, and then you'll see here two files: the land file with the L at the beginning, and the water boundary file. So it doesn't matter which one you load first. Let's add the water boundary. It asks me again. What is the projection system? It's this one. So if I click here and apply, there you go. See, our bathymetry already loaded with some colors. Yeah. I'm gonna add also the land boundary the same way. Same projection system. Apply, and there you have. Well, I'm gonna close this. Well, here is just giving me some information about the files that I've just loaded, like number of scatter points, the limits, and the Z range. So as you remember, we didn't have any depth below 100 meters. So that's right. I'm gonna close this. And this is now useful now that the bathymetry has been loaded. We can do something here. I'm gonna add the legend. So it's gonna add here just basically a legend to recognize what are those levels according to this. So what we can do now is to check if that's right or wrong. So what I'm going to do is to import the image, the background image, to check if the values that are shown here at the legend are the ones corresponding to the Admiralty chart. So that will tell me that basically this is right. This works with layers. What I'm doing now, the thing is that Mike uploads, or yes, when it loads the image, it loads it um, like on top of everything else. So what I have just done is to select the layer that contains the background image, and I'll do the same to show you what I have done. You select this layer, and then with those arrows you can put it on top or below any other layer. So what I have done is to put it below everything else or anything else. That's why it has been shown there now. So let's just check if everything is more or less all right before doing anything else. So let's zoom in that area. So yes, the points are where they should be. It will be odd if it will be if something different or will be happening. So basically, let's check this contour line. This contour line was the -20. So it has this kind of orange color. And basically, yes, it could be this one that is between -15 and the other limit is -13.15. This uh, this contour line here was the one that was separating, well, that was defining the -50 meters depth, and basically it should be this color here, this greenish color. So yes, it makes sense. Cool. Let's check the boundaries. The land boundaries are defined by this brownish color and says above 0. So that's right too. So good, 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 good. Everything's working fine. I just want to see everything here. Okay, cool. So what we are gonna do now, we are going to define what they are called arcs. The arcs are going to define the external boundaries of our model. They're gonna do a couple more things actually. Those arcs are gonna define, or we are gonna use them to be able to generate the waves. So let's define the arcs. Basically, what this is, what I'm going to do is to create a rectangle around the area, and by that I'm going to define the limits of the model. this can be done in two ways depending on the way that you're going to be working. I can create uh, a boundary like this. It doesn't matter if it cuts this land boundary here, it will just not be recognized by the model. So, and that's it. That's the boundary of our model. You can do it this way, like manually, or you can define the points. You can modify also those points. So I can move this point by clicking here, and then if I made any mistake, I can change it, the position. So let's do this way. Okay. This is just if I just move that point where it shouldn't be. Also, you can delete the points, or if you just want to delete everything. What will happen now? So if I select this arc now, it turns purple, right click, and I go to properties. Well, as you can see, this arc is defined by those three numbers, 0, 0, 0, so it doesn't have any other properties. If you want to define this arc to be a water boundary, so you're telling Mike that this is basically water, you have to use any number above 1 because the 1 is reserved to land boundaries. So here you have been able to see that when I have changed this endNode attribute to 2 or 3, this also has changed. Why? Because this refers to this point here. So sometimes if you define several arcs, because now I just have one, so this arc will have, or will have the same wave generation properties. That means that it's going to be a little bit difficult to control how I generate the waves. Because if I generate waves coming from the south, I won't be able to control from where are those waves going to be generated. Because the boundary is only one, so the model will also generate waves from this boundary north and from this other boundary north. So I do not recommend to build the boundaries this way, in a continuous way. So I'm going to delete this. Yes, I have it selected and I have pressed the delete button. I'm going to define 4 boundaries. So it's going to be from here to here. Right click, insert endNode, one boundary. It's going to be this one. Right click, insert endNode, another one from this point to this point. Right click, insert endNode, and from this point to this point. This will give us more control while generating waves. Here has happened something funny. I'm going to delete that node, this one, yes, and I'm gonna move this one maybe upwards. Why I have done this? Because now I can select this arc. While defining our model, I'm going to be able to say from this boundary generate waves with this direction. And that's going to give us a lot more control of what's happening in the model. The only uh, step back is now we have to define for each boundary their properties. So we're going to go select the arc, properties, and I'm going to call this the arc2 and node2. And now, as you have realized, this hasn't changed automatically because I have to tell Mike to what other boundary is connected this one. So let's keep it this way and let's name our boundaries in this direction, like clockwise, in a clockwise way. So 2, 2, 2, select this other boundary, right click, properties, this is gonna be the 3. The end node of this will be 2. I'm gonna leave this as 2, but the start node is gonna be 3, and it's gonna define the attribute of this node. That's what it gives continuity to the nodes. So this other one, properties, this is gonna be the 3, and here's 4, 2, 3. No, this is gonna be 4, 4, 3, 4. Okay, and sorry, this last other boundary is going to be the 5. See, now the end node and the start node attributes are already filled in those blank spaces because now Mike recognizes that this boundary is connected to this one and to the other one. So this is great. Okay, what we are going to do now is to load or import a boundary, the land boundary. What does it mean? Now, sorry. Now we have water boundaries. Perfect. Now we could do the same with the land boundaries. What we could do is to go here and kind of create a continuous line by points using this draw arc. So I could be doing this. See? Defining the contour of the island. That will be an option, but we can do this in a different way. We can import the boundary that we already have defined by those points. So we have the job is already done. So that's gonna save us some time. Also, it exists the possibility that you have the boundaries. Let's say that you have been working or you have the CAD version of this land boundary. You can use it. Just be sure that you have a file defining the boundaries in an X, Y, and Z format, and then you will be able to import it into Mike, and it will recognize it. So you will have a really accurate version of the land boundaries. I'm not gonna do it in this case. If you're interested of me showing how is it done, leave a commentary on the commentary section of the YouTube channel, and I'll do it. It's quite easy. It has just a tricky part where you have to when you have to generate the file, the XYZ file, because it has to be separated by commas. And sometimes when you export points from AutoCAD to a file, it doesn't do it that way. And sometimes a little bit tricky. It shouldn't be. It should just need to generate a CSV file with the value separated by commas, but sometimes doesn't work. Anyway, if you want me to show you how it's done, leave me a commentary. I'm not gonna do it now because, well, for the sake of this example, this will do the job. So I'm gonna import that boundary. Mike asked me how this should be connected. So what I want is Mike to import X and Y and or keeping the Z away from the connectivity between 2 points, because at this stage I just want to define the land boundary. I'm not really interested into the Z value. Again, it asks me for the projection system. I'm going to leave this like that, and I'm going to define, or I'm going to leave this by default because it will work. So Mike has imported 6 arcs for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 islands that I defined while defining our bathymetry. So as you can see here, now it doesn't appear anymore that red color. It appears, well, that brownish color. Now it appears a red color because it means that this land boundary has been imported. This method, it looks really cool, right? It's really easy. It has some problems. Some problems that I'm going to show you. What are those? What are those problems? I'm just deleting something that has happened here. Ah, well, this shouldn't have happened. Well, here I'm back again. Sorry for that. Well, you haven't seen what has happened, but basically, I've just needed to um, redo again everything. It's gonna give me an error. Yes. Sorry again for this. Oh well, this can happen. Cool. And this was the 5. So, what I was saying was, yes, we have now imported the land boundaries. So, as I have said, the land boundaries are defined by a property of 1. So, I'm gonna select the boundary and define everything as 1. So, Mike can recognize that as land. I'm just left clicking on each kind of island and then right clicking and selecting properties and define this as 1. Good. So now we are ready to produce our first mesh. And I'm talking about our first mesh. And I'm saying our first mesh because we're gonna refine it after this first one. But for this video, I won't go uh, into deep of the mesh generation. I just want to show you um, at least something. You will be happy to see some colors. Okay, so we're gonna go to mesh, generate mesh, and you'll see what's gonna happen. Well, here is asking us for the maximum element area. You'll see Mike is gonna generate a triangular mesh. So it's asking us for the maximum size of those elements. The smallest allowable angle it's not recommended that you have angles below 26 degrees. That will produce some instabilities in the model and inaccuracies. So be sure that this is 26 or above. And then the maximum number of nodes that you want to generate. I'm gonna leave this by default in this particular model because I know that it's gonna generate quite big elements, so it will be quite fast. Good, this is what I wanted to happen. See, this is saying triangulation has failed due to duplicate point at this point in particular. Zoom to point, yes. Why this has happened? While importing the land boundary from a file, as you know, we just define the boundary by clicking around the land boundary. So it can happen that in that process, the polygon that has been generated is not close. As you can see here, it should be just a single polygon, but here we have 3 nodes that are not within the polygon. So those we have to delete those nodes. So we're gonna go to delete points, delete, delete, and delete. Now everything's inside or everything forms part of the same contour line. Or contour line, sorry, the same arc. Okay, I'm going to delete this node. Now it will work. Now it's the same boundary. So generate mesh, generate, oh, again, what's happening here? This is happening. Now I'm gonna join this and this should work. Okay, we have fixed that one. Now we have another error here. See, this area has loads of nodes that they shouldn't be there. So we can delete them. That's it. Generate mesh. Again, another error. Yes, my friends, this happens. There you go. And now we're gonna create an arc between this point and this one. I know that it's gonna happen again in some other part of the system, as you can see. So let's delete this node, let's delete this one, and join them again. Again, generate mesh, generate another error here. So we're gonna do the same. I know I have done. Probably nothing good. Cool. We have fixed everything, and now the mesh has been generated. We have our first mesh, and you're going to be quite quick to see that something wrong is happening. Well, the good thing is that the mesh has been generated within our C boundaries, but the system has generated a mesh inside the boundaries of the islands. We don't want this to happen because it will distort our results. Even if, well, yes, it will distort our results. So I'm gonna delete the mesh that I just created. It has taken so long to generate. Yes. Why that has happened? Because you, even if you have defined this as a land boundary and this as a land, you have to tell Mike that even if it's land, the water cannot reach, or cannot cannot flood this land area. To avoid that, you have to insert a polygon. So now that you have the boundary clean and working, because you have seen that the mesh has been able to be generated in the model, then you can define this as a polygon. So that's it. That's it. Now this is something that Mike will consider as land. So we're gonna do that for each of the islands. We're gonna generate a polygon within all of them. So Mike understands that he shouldn't generate anything within those islands. Let's check here. Here's another one. So let's check. So this is an island. There's an island. Something wrong is happening in those ones. Okay. It seems that those boundaries are not closed completely. And when I've just generated the polygon inside. It hasn't done it right. Let's check here. There's a polygon. No, that's another problem. Here is right. And this one is right. And this one is right. Well, I'll need to spend some time to check the boundaries of this island here and the other one. I'll do it for the next video. I'll fix those boundaries, but I don't want to spend more time just now to modifying the boundaries of the islands yes, today. So, mesh, generate mesh, this by default, generate, and this is how it should look like. The island and the rest. And again, I'll fix this later. What we want to do now, but just we should do something in between, like smooth the mesh, refine it. But for you to see what we were trying to accomplish by generating this mesh, what I'm going to do is to interpolate the mesh. What this is going to do is to generate data between the scattered points that we have. So it will, depending on the conditions that we're telling Mike to generate the values, it will give to each of the elements a z value. So we'll have a continuous bathymetry. We have defined only this like limited bathymetry information, but by interpolating, what it will do is to fill the gaps of information. So we're gonna do it. I'm gonna leave the natural neighbor as an interpolation method. You can choose linear, but this will give us, this is faster, but it's not as accurate or as good as the natural neighbor. If you wanna know a little bit more about this interpolation method, I'll probably leave a link because if not, I'm gonna need to spend lots of time to explain how this works. But let's leave it like this. And let's click on start. Shouldn't be very slow because I don't have many points. Okay, not bad. Of course, as you will understand, if if you have a really complex mesh and really detailed, this can take a while to generate or to interpolate the values or the bathymetry values between points. So let's wait a minute or probably less, and we have something. And after the interpolation, I'm gonna explain you just one thing, and I will finish the video. On the next video, I'll teach you how to uh, redefine the mesh and to work with it, because basically having a good mesh is what is gonna give you good results. If you have a bad defined mesh, you will get, well, bad results basically. So let's see if this finishes. Good. 80 seconds, not bad. And there you go. This is the interpolated bathymetry. Here it is showing the original data. See? And well, I have to say that it doesn't look very good. Why? By two reasons. First, our mesh is quite coarse, so well, it has to give a value to its triangle, and this is what it is showing. And also, the palette here is quite coarse too. So to make it look a little bit better, before redefining the mesh, what we can do is to go to mesh, shading, shaded contour. That will give us something more natural to our interpolation. And this looks quite nicer. So what we can do is to try to remove the triangle overlay. To remove the original data, scatter that data. That will remove the original values, and we will have something that looks better. I'll explain you how to modify the mesh and do lots of things on my next video. I hope you like it and that you have learned something new. See you next time. Bye.